Special coverage on KCPT of the Greater Kansas City Chamber's Big Five initiatives is funded by Burns & McDonnell, Polsinelli, with additional financial support by
A winning new way to help kids with special needs, Sporting KC's Victory Project.
Also, a little place on the prairie where bison are making things better for prairie chickens. We'll take you to Missouri's Dunn Ranch.
Preppers, not preppies, are preparing for the worst. See what they're stocking up on.
And we'll take a stroll through the halls at Vinson Associates, where clinical research is very big business. It's all coming up on The Local Show.
Hello, I'm Nick Haynes.
And I'm Randy Mason. Seems like in no time at all, Sporting KC has worked its way into the fabric of our community.
Not just by winning the MLS Cup, but through programs like the Victory Project, which they launched last year to help kids with cancer and their families forget their troubles for one magic night.
Since then, the program has been expanding, as Ashley Holcroft shows us in a story that starts rather raucously at Sporting Park.
This is a typical night at a Sporting KC home game. The air is electric and the fans are fierce. But this championship-winning team has a softer side too. Meet Rachel Mast. She's a 14-year-old Olathe girl, and thanks to the Victory Project, her adventure started just days before the game.
Now they're kind of playing, see, they have them switched, so the guys in the yellow are on one team and the guys in the orange are on another team.
Wow, that's cool.
Why don't you tell Brandy about the soccer you did play? She'd like to play.
I did play soccer.
Yeah. What was your favorite position?
My favorite is a kicker. I can kick ball.
In April of last year, we decided to launch a foundation to help kiddos in Kansas City. So we launched the Victory Project. And since then, it's kind of evolved. Last year, it specifically was focused on kids who are battling cancer. And this year, we've expanded because we found that there were a lot more needs to be met in the community. And now our goal is to help any child in Kansas City that's battling a challenge.
And that assistance comes in many forms. It could be by helping to pay hospital bills or by donating specialized equipment. The Victory Project has also partnered with other community organizations, like Shadow Buddies, which gives kids in need a special doll to make difficult times easier, and Variety Children's Charities that provides adaptive equipment and access to athletic opportunities for area youngsters. But it also comes in the form of a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Hello. Hi, that's
Rachel.
Nice to meet you.
I'm
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Right foot or left foot?
I don't know, maybe give her some tips.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's your goal right there, and he's going to be the goalkeeper.
No, great.
Okay,
All right.
Come here. Just do the motion. Fix. Bam. Good job.
Oh, look, he's not paying attention. Oh, see, that's why he's such a good goalie.
But one-on-one time with professional soccer players isn't even the best part of what's in store for Rachel.
Now you have to celebrate, though.
Sometimes kiddos get a little shy when we bring them to the game. If we introduce them, the first experience is in front of 20,000 fans. So we like to bring them to practice a couple days before the game. When they go to the game, the players recognize them and they recognize the players, and it makes for a little bit better experience for them. So you're gonna come to the game, you and your mom and your dad and your two friends are gonna come. Inside the suite, you can have whatever you want. Pizza.
So just a few days later, Rachel's special day kicks off at the stadium with an all-access tour.
A place you haven't been yet.
One that roves from suite levels to sections for season ticket holders to the ultimate VIP destination, the field.
$, I believe, and they include a drink. You may or may not recognize these seats. They're seats that you would find in a Ferrari.
And speaking of seats,
You can see your special seat.
that's the deluxe invitation-only Victory Suite. It's where a full staff will cater to their every whim. It's also where this effervescent young lady will make a lot of new friends.
I love art.
Are you on TV?
Even now.
You are a celebrity, aren't you?
Beautiful.
Including The Bachelor's Juan Pablo and Sporting's CJ Sapong. But most importantly, It's where 2,000 Cauldron members will chant her name at the start of the game.
Rachel is joined by her parents, Jonathan and Juwanda, and her friends, Bethany and Kyle. Rachel, we're glad to have you here tonight, and enjoy the game.
And if all that wasn't epic enough, her evening is capped off with a trip to the field to watch the last 10 minutes of the game. And even that is not the best part. So, after a tremendous day of being celebrated, Rachel and her family made their way home. But first, this happened.
Yeah! You didn't kick like right here. We should get him. But keep it on here because if it gets wet, it might take it. Oh, he's doing tricks.
Thank you for playing with me. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're good at the buzzing.
The Victory Project is always looking for nominees, so if you'd like to nominate a special child to be honored at a Sporting KC game, go to our website at kcpt.org.
And while you're there, you can also learn about different ways you can support the Victory Project.
You've no doubt seen the ads offering to pay you thousands if you take part in a clinical research study.
Are you currently suffering from asthma?
Do you have sleeping problems?
Do you have type 2 diabetes? You could qualify for a new research study.
Kansas City has become a magnet for companies of that kind. More than 70 contract research firms and consultants have set up shop in the region, employing more than 9,000 workers and generating $1.3 billion in annual revenue.
But what happens inside these places? Well, this week we take a closer look at one clinical research firm that's growing so big it's adding a 3-story addition to keep up with the demand.
If you live or work in Johnson County, you've no doubt passed this place. We're going inside one of the Metro's largest clinical research facilities, Vince & Associates. Thousands of people have come through these doors to take part in hundreds of research trials. But folks around here are more familiar with Vince & Associates over the holidays, when the entire facility at 103rd and Metcalf in Overland Park is covered in 175,000 blinking lights synchronized to music, making it one of the Metro's largest holiday light attractions. No Clark Griswold moment today, though, as we meet our tour guide, Bruce Copeland. Hey, Bruce. Thanks so much for doing this with us. I very much appreciate it. So you're going to give us the whole grand tour?
Yeah.
It is a bit like a hotel in here, not like a clinical research facility.
A little bit. This is probably something more that you would see, more accustomed to seeing in Beverly Hills in the plastic surgeon's office than you would clinical research in Overland Park. But...
Well, we're ready.
All right, let's go.
Tell us what type of research you're doing here.
So types of clinical research with regards to the therapeutic areas, I mean, we'll do anything from ADHD, that falls within central nervous system, neuropsychiatric type studies, Hep C, vaccines. You know, we work with some studies in addiction. We're doing a few studies for the National Institutes on Health, the National Institute on Drug Abuse. We've even done some studies for the Department of Defense, so we've been subcontracted by someone else to do some. So it's pretty broad.
You know, I have in my hand here an ad that I saw in the Kansas City Star just over the weekend here. You're paying some participants $2,650 to come in here. This is just for 2 overnight stays for a lower respiratory illness. I mean, there's some real money to be made in this.
There is. Well, it says 2 overnight stays, but also 14 follow-up visits. So sometimes it's just really a challenge, especially for those long-term stays, for somebody to come in here. So.
Talking about some of those longer stays, though, Bruce, I was on your website. Some of the research trials last more than 30 days?
Indeed, indeed. We've actually had a study here that lasted 36 days. So it can be quite a long time for someone to be in a study.
So who would sign up for that, though? I mean, very few people could actually spend that much time here, could they?
Yeah, and it's all dependent on the time of the year. Sometimes we have an influence on when the study is started, if it's done during, let's say, like a winter break for college students.
You know, if people are spending over 30 days, though, that's like a prison term.
Well, it's, you know, it would seem that way, but in reality, I mean, that data is very crucial with regards to, you know, if that drug moves forward, seeing how the drug interacts with meals, ECGs, monitoring those subjects to see what's going on with their body. It's very important. So depending upon the strength of the drug, depending upon what the indication is, that observation time is a must.
So if somebody's going to be here for basically a month, what do they do all day?
Well, there's a lot of different amenities that we've built in that they can utilize. You know, we do have a game room, pool table. We do have a PlayStation room. We also have a movie theater.
You wouldn't expect a movie theater in here.
Yeah, but again, it's something that if you're going to be in here for a month or more, that you need to keep people entertained in a lot of different facets. So, and that's one of them. The other thing is that we have touchscreen entertainment units. They can choose from 400 or 500 movies, games, internet. They can access live TV. And so it's just something else that when you have these long stays, it helps retain those subjects so that companies can get a better read on what's going on with their drug to make sure they get a good safety profile to move forward. So they understand.
Who is paying you, Bruce? Is it the pharmaceutical companies?
The pharmaceutical companies are doing that. Sometimes it's a middleman where the pharmaceutical company reaches out to a large CRO and the large CRO secures our services.
Well, this has been an amazing experience for us. Bruce, thank you so much for allowing us into Vincent Associates.
Thanks for coming out, Nick.
Hey, thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
When most of us around here think of the tall grass prairie, we picture the Flint Hills or maybe parts of Nebraska or South Dakota.
But 90 minutes north of here on I-35 near Eagleville, Missouri, you'll find one of the Nature Conservancy's greatest local treasures, the Dunn Ranch Prairie.
It's a pristine example of the kind of ecosystem that once covered the heartland. Now, less than 1% of the original prairie remains.
Ann Copeland Davis has more on a unique habitat where the bison and native birds roam.
Have you got the transportation papers for me, or?
I don't have that stuff with me.
We're in northern Missouri, at the Iowa border, to witness a handoff 2 years in the making, but with roots that run even deeper.
All right, I guess we're ready to go.
The Nature Conservancy and the Missouri Department of Conservation are carefully caring prairie chickens, part of a regional effort to boost the bird's declining population.
210 on the red and 100 on the blue.
The prairie chicken has become a symbol of Missouri's grassland heritage. Now on the state's endangered species list, it's in good hands here. Tagging and attaching radio collars before releasing them will help biologists monitor their nesting habits. Turns out, they're eating no encouragement. The last takes a little extra push for what could be a long journey ahead in search of ideal grounds for building a nest this spring. At the Grand River Grasslands in Harrison County, 70,000 acres have been designated for large-scale restoration. It's only one of 2 places in Missouri where prairie chicken numbers have held steady. The centerpiece is Dunn Ranch, with 1,000 acres of remnant or unplowed prairie. Acquired in 1999 by the Nature Conservancy, its continuous, open areas of native grasses and wildflowers support ants and pollinators. An ideal habitat for grassland birds.
As we look at prairie restoration, we want to try to mimic all of the natural processes that were happening on these prairies when they covered vast amounts of the country prior to European settlement. But we were missing a large element of a working prairie ecosystem, and that was the forces that large herbivores could bring to the landscape.
For thousands of years, bison were the premier grazer in the Central Plains. But bison were also an easy target. Railroads drove slaughter deep into the plains. By 1900, upwards of 40 million animals had been reduced to a few hundred, mostly in zoos and on private lands. But one herd of genetically pure bison survived in Yellowstone National Park.
Oh.
These are among their descendants. In 2011, 36 bison were reintroduced into Dunn Ranch. Every year, they're rounded up into these corrals for vaccinations and health inspections. Through new additions, trades with other locations, and new calves, the herd has already doubled in size.
We didn't bring bison back because bison were endangered. There's roughly 400,000 now in the United States. We brought them back to restore an ecological process to the prairie. Our goal is to have about 250 head on 2,500 acres.
To the west, the rocky tallgrass region of the Flint Hills was seldom farmed. But here, where the steel plow was effective, corn and soybean crops soon followed, and the system of native plants and animals all but disappeared. Except at Dunn Ranch. With 1,000 unplowed acres, its native plants are all still here. Somewhere. Extremes of heat, cold, drought, and dry winds are normal. They boost the prairie's fertility. Native plants develop deep root systems that can serve water.
I'm just gonna go on past this drive 2 or 3 foot at a time.
Copy that, that'd be good.
Randy and his team are shaping the landscape as Native Americans once did. The flames above stimulate new growth. The roots below remain unharmed.
And we burn patches throughout the prairie annually. Each spring a different patch, and that's where the bison focus their grazing. They're here because of the fresh regrowth you see right now. Some areas like this, they'll graze shorter. Those areas that have been maybe a year since we burned, they'll graze moderately. Those areas that have been 2 or 3 years since we burned, they'll just graze those very lightly.
Which is one of the reasons why we're using bison at Dunn Ranch as a part of the natural processes that shape the prairie, because the bison provide a diversity of habitat heights and densities of grass, and prairie chickens need all different kinds of densities, as do various grassland birds.
By summer, this landscape will dramatically change. The wildflowers, which bison don't eat, produce seeds that then attract insects, birds, and small animals. Seeds caught in the bison's thick coat get spread across the ground as they dig, browse, trample, and wallow their way from burn patch to burn patch. It's this shifting interaction between burn patches and bison that's one of the great mysteries of the prairie ecosystem. And that's what biologist Stephen Blake is hoping to unravel over the next 5 years. He's gathering data on ground disturbances using GPS collars from an office hours away.
These bison are only moving over an area that's 2 miles long by 1 mile wide, and yet we see large areas of the prairie with almost zero bison activity. So this animal is clearly using space very heavily here and here, but this valley running through the ranch, it really doesn't use it at all except to go back and forth between these much preferred areas.
Right now it's downloading tag 3245.
It would presumably be very easy to have too many bison and to degrade the ecosystem. So the managers need enough bison, not too few and not too many. Hopefully our work can inform the managers on what perhaps the right number of bison is.
Over the last couple of years, we've seen drought conditions in the region. We've had opportunities to see how the bison and the prairie restoration work that we do is not just good for nature, but there's ways that it's good for people and it's good for economics, and it opens up opportunities to work with our neighbors, our ranching neighbors and our farming neighbors.
Neighbors like Robin Frank, whose 3,000-acre family-run farm adjoins the Dunn Ranch Prairie.
I've seen too many places where people have gone in and destroyed the land. It's not ours to do with what we want, and we're only here to tend the land.
Frank sometimes uses hay from Dunn Ranch to help feed his 300 head. Fescue, though widespread and hardy, goes dormant during the hot summer months. It lacks those long, water-conserving roots.
There was 70 acres on this part of the field, this east side of the field, that we put in straight Big Blue.
Recently, Robin began mixing native grasses with his fescue, ensuring a steady food supply for his cattle year-round.
And it's really why we do this, is more than just the 3,000 or 4,000 acres of prairie that we have here. It's what can we export from here that helps the agricultural industry or our cattle ranchers or the folks that we rely on to feed all the people on the planet. And tying all that together has been really, really fascinating.
The future of grasslands lies in a delicate balance between the needs of nature and our demands for food. Since the bison moved in next door, Robin sees more prairie chickens on his land, an early signal that this grasslands bird may be a symbol of hope.
You can stand at places in Dunn Ranch and think, this is what it was like when the first Europeans came here. Before that, this is what it was like when the Native Americans were existing on the land. It's a real link to the landscape and the heritage, and it inspires awe to see it happen.
You see the bison grazing on the hill, all the grassland birds singing, and that's work. So, you know, go figure.
They say summer on the Dunn Ranch, when the wildflowers are in full bloom, is particularly colourful. On June 28th, they're planning a bison tour. You can learn more on our website at kcpt.org.
Now we're going to finish up with a story from the other side of the state line with Kyle Geary to learn more about preppers.
Now, as the name implies, they're getting prepared for all kinds of cataclysmic events, ranging from floods to nuclear fallout.
Kyle's road trip to the Prepper Expo took him to the Jackson County Fairgrounds in Holton, Kansas.
It's a peaceful Saturday morning in Holton, Kansas, the kind of day where one could relax and not worry about a thing. But at the Jackson County Fairgrounds, some would say that's exactly the problem. This is the Kansas Preppers Expo, and it's not quite what you might expect. Yes, there are guns, lots of guns, but that's only one part of what makes up the show. Spread across the showroom floor are water purifiers, medical equipment, fire starters, and even fish-powered gardens. Fred Searcy of Fred and Wilma Zombie Defense is a vendor at the show, but despite the name, he says that prepping is not just about preparing for the end of the world.
I mean, we're just trying to prepare normal people for any dangers. I mean, from the being accosted in a parking lot to being robbed at gunpoint. Hopefully we can help them out in any way, shape, or form.
A major concern for preppers is food shortage. Brent Bowman is with the Organization for Sustainable Living, and he believes that he has a solution with his aquaponics system. But what is aquaponics exactly?
Aquaponics is the utilization of fish waste to utilize a couple of bacteria that naturally occur in water to convert that to nitrates, which is optimum plant food. And these particular systems, there's actually a fish bowl underneath, and the water comes up through the fish bowls and kind of comes through and drip irrigates the actual the plants.
Along with products to sell, some companies even offered classes for the attendees. Blackthorn USA is a survival school which teaches students how to build essential items one would need in the wild.
Well, we teach everything from making fire with sticks, you know, the bow drill, hand drill, things like that, all the way up to modern things like, say, water filters and camp stoves, things, you know, things that you would see on a camping trip. The more primitive items that we make and use at the school, you've got a hatchet, basically a war club or a sledgehammer. This is a hide scraper made out of an antler from an elk. War club here, this is made out of the jawbone of an elk. These are bolas, which is a hunting tool.
In the midst of all the weapons on display, non-gun selling vendors had to educate consumers on the importance of other survival goods.
Everyone tends to think about guns and food and water, which are all important, but you don't have to be a survivalist to get hurt or to need some Band-Aids, and most people don't think about that at all. A lot of people will just go to Walmart or a regular store and think that they can buy a kit off the shelf that'll suffice all of their needs, when in reality that's just not how it works.
Water is the most crucial item. Water is the most important thing to your survival. Before you go buy guns, before you buy sleeping equipment, all that, the first thing you should make sure you have is a quality water filter that will produce the kind of water that you need and the amounts that you need.
There were also some surprises at the expo, from an assault rifle being raffled off to a balloon artist who was making M16s, sniper rifles, and more for kids.
These weapons are excellent against aliens. I mean, if an alien comes, this is the kind of weapon you need.
One vendor even taught a class on how to kill, skin, and cook a rabbit.
You can grab it up like this, take a lead pipe or, something that's an iron rod or something, smack it right behind the head, break the neck, instant kill.
Regardless of what people may think about the conference, to the preppers, it's just about common sense.
There's no more common sense. And if you do find it, it's in a small pocket of friends like here today. Where like-minded people gather to share knowledge and hopefully gain a little bit of insight on each other and network into a community that we can become self-reliant as an inert group.
This is Kyle Gary with the Hale Center for Journalism.
Well, that is quite a way to finish up this season of The Local Show. We'll be taking a break this summer, which for us always starts with the Kansas City Symphony's celebration at the station.
You can join us for all the great music and awesome fireworks over Liberty Memorial Sunday night at 8 live right here on KCPT. I'm Nick Haynes.
And I'm Randy Mason. Thanks for watching.